Prime Minister Perry Christie's cabinet is complete.
I remain committed to ensuring that by the end of my time in office, the new generation of our political leaders will have risen to dominance in the cabinet.
Good evening, Bahamas. This is NB12, broadcasting from Cable 12 Studios on Robinson Road. The 11 remaining cabinet ministers sworn in today. NB12 gets an exclusive interview with former Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham. Two chairmen of government corporations resigned days after the general election. Plus, the body of the sixth murder victim this week found in Pinewood last night. Those stories and so much more on the way. I'm Nikki DeVoe, and NB12 starts right now. Thanks again for joining us here at NB12. The cabinet of the new Christie administration is now complete. The remaining cabinet ministers were sworn in officially at Government House this afternoon. They include ministers responsible for immigration, Grand Bahama, health, social services, the environment, and housing. Paige McCartney tells us more about the appointments in this report.
Prime Minister Perry Christie said now that his cabinet is complete, he can now go about the urgent business of steering the country in the right direction.
And helping to steer the country in what Christie believes is the right direction are Fred Mitchell, who's been appointed the new Minister of Foreign Affairs and Immigration, the Alfred Gray, who will serve as Minister of Agriculture, Marine Resources, and Local Government, Shane Gibson, who was sworn in as the new Minister of Labor and National Insurance, Glenys Hannah Martin, who is returned to a familiar post as Minister of Transport and Aviation. Melanie Griffin has a familiar portfolio as well, though she's now the substantive Minister of Social Services. A Ministry of Grand Bahama has been created, and Dr. Michael Darville will head it. Dr. Perry Gomez has been appointed Minister of Health, while Ken Dorset takes the post as Minister of the Environment and Housing. Dr. Danny Johnson is the new Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture. Hope Strawn has been appointed Minister of State for Transport and Aviation, and Kaylis Rowe has been appointed Minister of State for Investments in the Office of the Prime Minister. Christie today said, however, that these positions may not remain for the entire 5 years of his term.
I fully intend to make midterm ministerial adjustments with a view to bringing into the cabinet some of our elected members of parliament who have not been included in the first round. And I should say that even beyond that, I remain committed to ensuring that by the end of my time in office, the new generation of our political leaders will have risen to dominance in the cabinet.
In addition to the new cabinet positions, the Prime Minister today also announced a number of parliamentary secretaries. Exuma and Ragged Island MP-elect Anthony Moss has been appointed to the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources. South Beach MP-elect Cleola Hamilton has been appointed to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Immigration. And Bamboo Town MP-elect Renwood Wells has been appointed in the Ministry of Works and Urban Development. Garden Hills MP-elect Dr. Kendall Major is appointed the next Speaker of the House, and Dion Smith is his deputy.
I stand to be corrected, but I believe that this is the youngest combination of Speaker and Deputy Speaker our country has ever had. I have today also announced the appointment of 3 parliamentary secretaries, Mrs. Cleola Hamilton, Mr. Anthony Moss, and Mr. Renwood Wells. But I will reserve my comments on them until Monday, when they will be sworn in at a separate ceremony here at Government House.
The Prime Minister said in the next week he will make announcements on the new executive chairmanships of important government corporations. Already he has announced Mount Moriah's MP-elect Arnold Forbes will head an important agency.
Arnold Forbes, the Member of Parliament-elect for the Mount Moriah constituency, could just as easily have gone into the cabinet. But he has expressed a keen interest in helping to promote job creation and entrepreneurial opportunities as the new executive chairman of the Bahamas Agricultural and Industrial Corporation. And also as an ambassador with special focus on trade.
Following those announcements, the Prime Minister indicated that there will also be appointments made to various government boards.
And the Prime Minister mentioned that 11 of his new cabinet ministers are brand new to leadership in the Bahamas government. And he said he wanted it that way so that there can be new, fresh ideas on how to govern the country. And he said the size of the cabinet is the way it is because he believes that he needs more people to tackle the many faceted faces of the issues facing the country right now. The Prime Minister said he intends to meet with his cabinet for the first time on Tuesday morning. Reporting for NB12, I'm Paige McCartney.
Well, in a statement released this afternoon, the Free National Movement responded to the makeup of the cabinet. The FNM said at a time of high unemployment and reduced government revenues, Prime Minister Christie has appointed a cabinet of 21 ministers, 4 more than the last FNM cabinet, which numbered 17. The opposition noted that Christie has also appointed 3 parliamentary secretaries as compared to the 2 at the time of the general election. The FNM said as opposed to being ready on day 1 to commence governing, the new, quote, never-ready PLP government took 4 full days to appoint its bloated cabinet. The FNM also said the new Christie cabinet is very reminiscent of his last one. Well, since it was announced that Dr. Hubert Minnis would become leader of the Free National Movement, many in the party have weighed in, and now former Prime Minister Hubert Ingram is speaking out about his role in the way forward for the former governing party. Here's Jasmine Bonamy with that story.
While he is no longer the leader of the Free National Movement, former Prime Minister Hubert Ingram says he fully supports Dr. Hubert Minnis. And he says while he'll no longer be a part of frontline politics, he will continue to support the FNM. Ingram spoke to NB12 during a reception for Dr. Minnis at the British Colonial Hilton yesterday evening. He says he fully supports Minnis' appointment and thinks the former Minister of Health is the right man to replace him.
I think it's an excellent choice. I think he will do very well. He has my full support. He has the full support of the elected members, the full support of the council of the party, and we will give him all the support we can to ensure that he does a very effective job and assist in returning the party to office next time.
With his family, friends, and fellow party members looking on, Minnis was handed his instruments of appointment in Government House yesterday evening. Minnis' father spoke briefly with Ingram after the ceremony, thanking the former Prime Minister for giving his son a chance. During the ceremony, Minnis pledged to be an effective party leader.
We seek to ensure accountability and transparency in the conduct of the public business in the Bahamas. We will work to ensure that the people of the Bahamas have a government working for the benefit and advancement of all Bahamians. A government that will not use the criterion of political affiliation to facilitate obtaining a job, or a contract, or a license, or a favorable government decision for a scholarship.
On Wednesday night, the party's MPs-elect in conjunction with the FNM Central Council voted Dr. Minnis in during a private meeting. The vote came 2 days after Ingram resigned as leader of the party and announced he will not take his seat in the House of Assembly when it opens on May 23rd. The Free National Movement won only 9 of 38 seats in the House of Assembly. And though he has retired from frontline politics, Ingram insists he will still support and be an active member of the party.
I'll be very supportive of the FNM, and I will do whatever the leader asks me to do, whatever support I can give him, whatever support I can give the team. While I will not be up front, I'll be very supportive. I think I have some ideas that they can use and benefit from.
The party will elect other officials during their convention on May 26th. Reporting for NB12, I'm Jasmine Bonamy.
Well, Mr. Ingram has also suggested that one of the reasons the PLP won the election is that it bribed voters. Vonnie Toot reports.
In the weeks following the May 7th general election, leaders of the Free National Movement plan to take a long, hard look at what went wrong for them on Election Day. However, former Prime Minister Hubert Ingram says he has no doubt about what contributed to the Progressive Liberal Party's win. He suggested that the PLP was buying votes even after polls opened.
I think that one of the things that they population can glean themselves is there's no great joy on the part of those who are supposed to have won. There's a reason for that. They know why. They know why they won. They know how they won. At some point in time, we'll say too. We'll say so. They know how they won.
Can you give us a hint?
You live in the society. You live here like everybody else. You would have seen the yellow shirts outside, under the tents. You would have seen voters going up to the tents and collecting nicely folded shirts on election day. And you'd see how unusual that is. Parties give out T-shirts and whatnot before election. They don't fold them for you.
FNM candidate Cassius Stewart says he too has heard claims of bribery. He lost in the Bamboo Town constituency to PLP candidate Renward Wells. Stewart, who was courted by both the FNM and PLP last year, claims if the PLP had fought fair, it would not have won.
You know, I've got many reports about vote buying and all sorts of other stuff that went on in Bamboo Town, and so, you know, I don't have any regrets. I know that if they had played fair, we would have won. We did not do anything that would have broken any election rules. We played it clean. We ran a clean campaign, but we know that they did not.
The FNM won only 9 of the 38 seats in the House of Assembly. However, Mr. Ingram made it clear these claims are not a case of sour grapes, but ones that can be backed up with substantial evidence. As for the FNM's loss, he says it's something they have accepted.
But the reality is we lost. We lost and we accept our defeat. We will do what we have to do to win again.
We have to move forward. We have to build our party, and we're going to make the people realize that, listen, yeah, the FNM is the better choice for the country moving forward. And I'm sure that, you know, when people begin to see what the PLP is made out of, again, they will realize that they made a mistake.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Vonik Toot.
Free National Movement candidate Cassius Stewart is denying reports that he plans to challenge Dr. Minnis during the party's convention later this month. Stewart questioned why he would challenge Dr. Minnis after voting in favor of his appointment 2 days ago. Stewart says he wouldn't mind running for the deputy leader post, which is currently vacant.
Sure, why not? I led a party for 12 years. I know what it takes to lead a party. I led a smaller party than the FNM, and we were successful in beating the PLP before as a small party, and now that we have the great impetus of a major party, challenging the Free National Movement, the Progressive Liberal Party, in opposition will not be as hard as people think it is, because we know their strategies. We know exactly what they're going to do. We know their game, their role play, and their game. So, you know, that position is also open, and you know, I will be considering that as well too.